I've heard that gun sales are higher when Democrats are in office than when Republicans are in office. That is very interesting to me. Why is that?
Obviously fear.
Is it fear?
Fear of restrictions, fear of, I think, safety. I think the biggest thing is obviously, so I started my gun store under Obama. So I started ReadyGunner out of my house under Obama, and man, that guy could sell some fucking guns. So that's essentially like, I feel like if I would have started under George Bush or, you know, I probably wouldn't have done as well. But
the best gun salesman.
Yeah, because man, Obama, I swear every time he spoke, he was always talking about like
Getting rid of
assault
guns.
rifle bans and everything else, and that was the biggest thing. Like, and then Sandy Hook, which is I don't even like talking about Sandy Hook. Dude, it's one of like the most horrific gun events in the history of this nation.
Yeah.
But everyone was scared. They're like, there is no way something like Sandy Hook happens under a Democratic president, and he doesn't implement some kind of a assault rifle ban. So everyone thought they were going away. Right. You couldn't find a fucking AR-15 for 6 months to buy unless it was like a $5,000 like gun that somebody was selling. Yeah. Used because that's what it was worth.
Well, that was how it was with the coronavirus thing.
Yeah.
Like when I came into ReadyGunner, I was like, I want to buy some stuff, and they're like,
we were bare for a little bit.
I know. I was looking at like your thing used to just be full, and then I'm looking, I'm like, where's all the guns, man? All the ammo, the short, like it was crazy. Yeah. And so it always stems from fear then, huh?
Oh, fear. Fear and like when Trump, everyone calls it the Trump slump. When Trump became president, there was a huge slump in people buying guns because everyone was like, hey, he's not going to touch the guns. He's not going to take them away. Obviously, there's debate on this. But a lot of people say that President Trump was actually implementing more gun laws than Obama. But everyone's all heard about the bump stock. Yeah. Everyone, but anyway, that's something else. And then the last 2 years have been the biggest years for gun sales, bar none, in the history of this nation. Over every other year, even in the Obama years, which says a lot because, like I said, that guy's one of the biggest gun salesmen in America. So you had COVID. I mean, this was the perfect storm for gun sales. You had COVID, you had the fucking riots, you had lockdowns, and then the George Floyd thing. Yeah. Here locally, we had that shooting down in Provo Center Street.
Yeah, that was right down here. Yeah.
So the day after that was one of our biggest gun sales day in 10 fucking years.
What about like with Kyle Rittenhouse and what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, that was more of a national thing. And that wasn't a huge spike, a little bit, you know. Right. And then you went into like the most heated presidential election in the fucking history of this nation. You know?
Right.
You had the Capitol, riots on January 6th, and it was like spike. Like every time something happened, you had a fucking big spike in gun sales. I mean, I got to the point where I was going through distributors' allocation lists and just buying everything I could fucking buy. Yeah. Like I was doing $100,000 orders on fucking guns and ammo, because I got caught with my pants down when COVID hit. Right. I should have dumped a fucking $3 million in fucking 9 mil. You know? And but you always think, and I've been through this before, I should know better. I always think like, no, I'll be able to get it. Like I'm, big swinging dick on the block now. Like people love me, I'd spend millions of dollars with these distributors. They're going to pick me up. They don't. Mm-hmm. So in this year, we just been, if you walk into our store now, we have more inventory than we've ever had.
Oh, I love it.
So it's been crazy for gun sales. I was telling Josh, we thought there's no way we were going to beat 2020. So 2019 was our biggest year. In 2020, we beat 2019 by 400%. So 2021, we're like, there's no way. It'll be the first year we kind of go back and don't beat the previous year because every year has been better. And we beat 2020 I was telling Josh, by August. Like by August 15th, I'd already done my full 2021 numbers. Holy shit. So I'm like, but I always felt like it's got to plateau. Like the COVID thing will die down, the mandates will down, and the government will finally return to some kind of level of fucking normalcy, which it doesn't. Like they just keep pushing and implementing. So, but obviously from a business standpoint, it's great. But I also love seeing getting more gun owners into the hen house. You have more people coming in, and the biggest thing we heard last year was like, hey, I'm a first time gun owner. I've never had a gun. I've never really even been a gun guy. Like they kind of scare me, and we're like, come on in, man. Let us show you. Let us show you the room. Welcome to the fold. Yeah. And you get them in the range, you get them shooting, and they fucking love it. They're like, this is not what I thought it was. This is way different. I actually love this. It's fun. I feel comfortable. It's not scary. Like the Democrats or fucking movies make it seem like it's actually empowering. Yeah. It's fun. And it's something that they get into, and then they become range members, and you fucking see them like every week. It's awesome.
That's awesome. That was one of the craziest statistics I've ever heard. Is there were more first-time gun buyers in the year 2020 and 2021 than any other year in history.
Oh, yeah.
That actually made me really happy.
Yeah.
Right? Because it showed the people of this country all feel the same thing. You know, like we have to protect what is ours, right? And that to me is what gun sales at the end of the day, you know, reflect to me, is that the people realize that they have to take responsibility for themselves to protect themselves. Doesn't matter what the enemy is, they're taking responsibility on themselves, realizing it's on me to do this or nobody else. As much as we love the police, there's a certain lag time in how fast they can get there, right? As much as we love our military, same thing, you know, especially military and deployment, there's a lag time, right? The best line of defense is you, right? You are your best line of defense. You are the number one thing that's going to deter, you know, like what's going to happen to you, right? I know you guys teach a lot of classes with that. And obviously that's, you know, like, you know, in your world, like what you teach people. But that is it. That's what makes me happy. The one thing that makes me happy about what's happened is there are a lot of people that realize like, oh shit, I better get my shit in order or I'm fucked.
They get it. I mean, if you haven't learned in the last 2 years that, hey, safety is your self-responsibility, like nothing is going to teach you that. Nothing's going to fucking like get it through your head that like, look, the government's not coming to save you. Like you said, law enforcement, as great as they are not going to show up in a situation where like, it's life and death. Like they're going to show up to essentially put you in a body bag. Let's be honest.
Right.
Like safety and the safety of your family. And I say this all the fucking time, is your responsibility and your responsibility only. It is. There's no fucking argument against that. It is.
Right.
And to all these new gun owners, it's like, look, obviously we want to welcome you to the fold and in the Second Amendment community. And it's a great community to be in.
It is.
But, obviously, training is a huge factor. Like we want everyone who's new to guns to get the training, and obviously get comfortable and be a contributing member of the firearms community. And obviously, we don't want to see accidents and shit like that, which is prone to happen if you don't have training and you just, hey, I'm just going to buy a gun, throw it in my purse, and go out and do my thing, you know. And heaven forbid you have to use that gun. You're probably going to be more of a liability than anything else. So,
no kidding.
So get fucking training and
You know, it's funny because what you're talking about before. And what we're really talking about here is fear. At the end of the day, what we're talking about here, when it comes to Second Amendment, when it comes to politicians, when it comes to what's happening in this country, when it comes to how we're divided in this country, like all these things, it comes down to one thing, and that's fear.
Yeah.
Right? And fear in a way is healthy. It's actually a very healthy thing, but it's also a dangerous thing, right? When in regards to business, because you said these politicians are some of the best marketers there are, right? Well, the best marketing strategy you can ever implement is to make sure everyone knows who the enemy is. Meaning you have to highlight the enemy. That is the best marketing tactic any business can implement. It's not to talk about the good stuff of your business. It's actually to highlight and point out the enemy, to create fear.
Yeah.
Right? To create fear in your business. And whether it's guns, whether you're actually just doing your marketing service or anything, you point out the scary stuff and how you can then help solve that problem. So in regards to our politicians, they're really good at that. But why the fuck are they so good at that? Trying to get in office to get our tax-paying dollars, so they create fear. Because when you've created enough fear and you create an enemy, then it makes people rally together.
They're like, don't worry, we'll help you solve the problem with,
Exactly. You have to point out the enemy, right? So the enemy for a lot of, you know, like we could go to you know what's funny though? I blame Republicans just as much as I blame Democrats. Like I you know, if you talk to me about my values and what I love, people would call me a conservative, right? Yeah. And that's very true, like in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, no, I fucking love this country. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a libertarian. Like, leave me the fuck alone. And you could do whatever you want. I don't care if you want to do something as long as you don't try to implement it on me and my family, right? But I look at our country and I look at the Democrats, Republicans. Everyone tries to pick sides. And I look at Democrats, I'm thinking, oh shit, like you guys are fucked, right? Yeah. Like I can't believe that. But at the same time, I look at some Republicans and I say, you are too. You are too.
You're 100% right.
Right.
I judge people on an individual basis.
Yes.
Like I don't blanket judge anybody, you know?
Right.
And that goes for everything. You know, military, you could have like the most high speed fucking unit in the military and you'll have some shitbag in there and you have some high speed dude in there, you know?
Right.
Politicians are the same way. Like I'm not a guy to be like, dude, I'm a Republican and all the Republicans are great and those are the guys that we need to, who are going to come save us. Like I'm not a fucking politician guy at all in general.
Right.
You know, it's like, look, obviously I know there's some value there and something that someone has to be there to obviously do the political stuff.
Right.
But it becomes more and more fucking crooked.
Yes.
Every fucking day on both sides of the aisle. You know, I don't even like labeling myself as a member of any party.
Right.
More of like, look, these are my values and whoever like they align with the most. And you can call me that party, but these are my values and my values are based on what I believe, not dictated to me by, hey, I'm a Republican and I believe in that because these guys also believe in that.
Right.
Like, like I'm sure I have values that, you know, is more leaning toward Democratic than Republican, but I'm a people person, man. I judge you on an individual basis and who you are. Like, if my best, like Josh could fucking hate you,
right,
and think you're a piece of shit, and be like, hey, that Jeremiah guy is just a piece of fucking garbage. I'm like, really? I mean, I don't know him. I gotta get to know him before I can make that judgment on my own because you know.